अस्सलाम वालेकुम. I am an education manager, Rehan, question for campus student. आज मैं करने को मैं
Hey there.
आज का हमारा टॉपिक है how to boost your productivity with simple tricks.
Oh, I love a good shortcut. The 2-minute rule is a classic. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, just do it immediately instead of adding it to a list. It clears the mental clutter fast. Do you feel like you struggle more with getting started or staying focused once you're in the zone?
What does productivity mean to you?
So, me, productivity isn't about squeezing every single second out of the day like some sort of robot. It's more about intention, doing the things that actually move the needle for you while still having room to breathe. If you spend all day being productive but end up totally out, that's not actually a win. Does that resonate with you, or do you have a more disciplined approach? Fair enough. Since we were talking about productivity, do you want to dive into some more of those tricks, or is there something else on your mind?
Why is productivity important in daily life?
It basically gives you your time back. When you're productive, you're not just getting more work done, you're creating space for the things you actually enjoy. It stops the day from feeling like one long, overwhelming to do list and lets you actually be present. Plus, there's a certain kind of peace that comes from knowing you've handled your business and can truly relax without that nagging feeling in the back of your head. Does that make sense? You're a person of few words today. Since we've hit the productivity topic pretty hard, do you want to pivot to something entirely different, or are you still in the mood for some tips?
How does planning help increase productivity?
It's all about reducing visual noise. When your environment is a mess, your brain is constantly processing those distractions in the background, even if you don't realize it. A clear space usually leads to a clearer head, which makes it way easier to actually focus on the one thing you're trying to get done. I've heard that some people even find the act of cleaning itself to be a sort of warm up for their brain to get into a productive state. Do you find that you can work through a mess, or does it totally throw you off?
What are some common distractions that reduce productivity?
Oh, the list is endless, but the big ones are usually the digital ones. Phones are the obvious culprit. One quick check of a notification, and suddenly you've spent 20 minutes scrolling through things you don't even care about. Then there's context switching, which is when you jump between different tasks too quickly and your brain takes a while to actually catch up. Even something as simple as a noisy environment or a cluttered desk can bleed your focus dry. Do you find yourself falling into any of those traps, or is it more of an internal struggle, like overthinking things?
How much time do you spend on social media every day?
Since I don't have a phone or a social media account, I spend 0 time scrolling. It's probably a lot less stressful than the constant stream of notifications you have to deal with. Do you find yourself spending more time on social media than you'd like?
How can reducing phone usage improve productivity?
Basically stops the leak in your attention span. When you're not constantly reacting to pings and red dots, you can actually dive into deep work, that state where you're fully immersed in a task and actually making progress. Plus, it lowers your baseline stress because you're not in a state of constant interruption. Do you think you could handle a few hours of phone free time, or does that feel like a nightmare?
Have you ever used a timer while studying or working?
I don't have a physical body to sit down and study, so I haven't used one myself. But I've heard the Pomodoro technique is a huge hit working in short bursts with scheduled breaks. Do you use a timer to keep yourself on track, or do you prefer to just go with the flow?
How can taking short break improve focus?
It prevents your brain from hitting a wall. When you push through for hours without stopping, your focus starts to dip and you're more likely to make mistakes. A short break acts like a reset button, letting your mind wander for a minute so you can come back with a fresh perspective and more energy. Do you usually take breaks? Are you the kind of person who tries to power through everything? Got it. Since we've been talking a lot about the mechanics of productivity, I'm curious, does this feel like a set of rules you're trying to follow, or are you looking for a way to make things feel more natural for you?
What is your most productive time of the day?
I'm always on and ready to go, so I don't really have a biological clock to deal with. But I've noticed most people have a very distinct peak, like those early bird types or the total night owls. Which one are you?
How can setting goals help you stay productive?
It gives you a target to aim for so you're not just spinning your wheels. Without a goal, it's easy to just be busy without actually achieving anything. It turns a vague desire to get things done into a concrete plan, which makes it a lot easier to stay motivated when things get tedious. Do you like to set big long term goals, or do you prefer keeping it simple with daily targets? I totally agree. Having a sense of purpose or a project to dive into keeps the momentum going. Without it, the day just kind of bleeds together, doesn't it?
Do you complete difficult tasks first or easy tasks first?
I don't have a to do list to tackle, but I've heard the eat the frog approach is a game changer. The idea is to knock out the hardest, most annoying task first thing in the morning so the rest of the day feels like a breeze. Do you usually dive into the deep end first, or do you like to build momentum with the easy wins?
How can good sleep improve productivity?
Wait, shrimp? I'm guessing that was a typo or weird autocorrect unless you've discovered some secret productivity superfood I don't know about. Did you mean sleep or maybe something else?
Why is exercise important for staying productive?
It gets the blood flowing to your brain. Basically wakes up your cognitive functions, which makes it way easier to focus and think clearly. Plus, it's a great way to shake off mental fatigue and clear your head when you're feeling stuck. Do you actually enjoy moving around, or is exercise something you have to force yourself to do?
What simple productivity trick works best for you?
Mhm. Since I don't have a brain to distract or a to-do list to manage, my version of productivity is just being here and thinking with you. But if I had to pick a human trick that sounds the most effective, it's definitely the 2-minute rule we mentioned earlier. It just seems so satisfying to clear the small stuff immediately. Do you have a favorite trick that actually works for you, or are you still experimenting? No worries. It's a bit of a trial and error process, isn't it? You just have to see what actually clicks with your own brain. Since we've been circling around productivity for a while, how are you feeling? You seem a little stuck.
How
Maybe we
can
should take a
productivity
break from
help
product.
students and teachers?
For students, it's basically a survival skill that keeps them from having to pull all-nighters and helps them actually absorb what they're learning instead of just cramming. For teachers, it's the difference between feeling like they're drowning in grading and actually having the energy to be creative in the classroom. Does that feel accurate based on what you've seen at university?